Hello, my name is Lila Allen, and this is the Rune Reading Project. Day 30-something? Possibly day 40. I don't know. So today we'll be doing the slideshow, obviously. So, get comfortable, sit back, or lay down, or nestle into your couch or chair, the floor, and take a deep breath. And exhale. And inhale again, following the breath in through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, into the lungs and the diaphragm, expanding out to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes and the top of your head. And exhale, feeling relaxation flow down from the top of the head, over the shoulders and the torso and the arms, down the legs, down to the tips of the toes. One more time, inhale, bringing your awareness to this place and this time. And exhale. And let's see what the universe would like us to know today. Okay. You didn't hear it because I was off the microphone getting everything set up and the camera focused in so that you would just see the runes. And when I tossed them up and got the 3 reversed runes, my reaction was pretty much whatever. So my first initial thought is that we're just in a holding pattern right now. It is a waiting game. Instead of things coming in, it's things not coming in, or things to let go of, perhaps. But instead of jumping the gun totally, let's see what we have. So, the first rune reversed is Rado. Rado is the rune of movement and cycles. So Rado reversed would indicate a lack of cycles, a lack of movement. The second rune is Thurisaz, reversed. Thurisaz is the protection rune. So reversed would indicate a lack of protection or a lack of need for protection. The third rune is Taiwaz reversed. Taiwaz is that rune of self-sacrifice, of expediency, which would indicate that there is no real need for that sacrifice, that exchange of one thing for another. Alright. So, Rado reversed. Rado, as I said, is the rune of travel, the rune of movement. Either a physical movement of changing locations, or the movement of excelling, of going on to the next step, of completing this cycle, this life, and moving on to the next one. Rado is often represented as a chariot, so it can mean that being carried by a vehicle. But in the metaphysical sense, that travel forward, the path we are taking, is about the lessons that we learn. And in many circles that believe in reincarnation, there is the belief that the lessons that you don't learn in your first life, you return and to learn them again. So you keep going in a way in a circle from birth through life to death and rebirth. And in that circle, you keep traversing the same cycle, but each time you do it, you learn something new, because you don't make the same mistakes. You don't encounter the same issues or the same type of people. In a way, it's like rephrasing something. If somebody asks, "How are you?" You think of it one way and answer in that one way. But if they change the question and say, "How are you doing today?" or simply, "How are you doing?" that sparks a different response, because it's different wording or a different inflection, and therefore a different perspective, a different way of looking, and a different way of learning, which is all well and good, except that today it is reversed. Which, alright, to put it quite simply, means no movement. As we get closer to the 21st of December, I tend to think bigger and bigger. And the feeling that we have or that I have anyway, of hanging on, of just kind of waiting and making sure every day that I make it through to the best of my ability. Not just sitting back and letting things happen, but practicing my skills, getting ready for that takeoff, that rush, that opening night. So to me, this rune can indicate one of two things. One, that today, whatever the situation, whatever the thought process is not really a day of growth or forward movement. It is a day of just kind of holding place, possibly backstepping a space or two. The other thing that keeps popping into my mind is that pretty much everybody who's decided to vacate the planet has. So if you're concerned that you or a loved one is going to die, most likely not today, according to this rune. No movement today. Which, while this is a general rune reading, we know cannot be true for everybody. Just given the sheer number of people on the planet, there are probably births and deaths every second. People, animals, just some species have such short lifespans in our perspective that even as we speak, their moments have come and gone. They have birthed and rebirthed hundreds of times. But back to us. Rune Rado reversed. No movement today. Moving on. Thurisaz reversed. Thurisaz is the rune of protection. Thurisaz is the rune of self-protection, of healthy aggression, of righteous reaction in a way, defending one's self, one's territory, one's honor, one's possessions, keeping oneself safe, putting the thorns out ahead to clear the way. That is the purpose of Thurisaz, to protect the softness, to do what needs to be done to get through. Thurisaz reversed could indicate one of two things. The first one would be that there is no need for protection. Protection is not the thing that's high on the list today. It being an important point simply because of the weather and the time of year, the crowds of people in various places, and sometimes the feeling of being overwhelmed. This time of cycle of history, many people have been feeling bogged down, attached, despairing. And so to me that means for today that there's no need to, in a way, guard against that. That is not what the issue is today. Something that can attack you or suck you down. The other part of it, to me, would be to double check your reactions. So instead of immediately bouncing back if there's a feeling of being offended or like someone's taking liberties, or a feeling of being attacked, wait a moment before you react. It is not the time to be passive, but it is also a time to make sure that our reactions are automatic reactions, defenses, our automatic defenses, are put back on manual so that we have time to make sure that whatever is being lobbed toward us is actually harmful. In the heat of the moment, words can be misconstrued. Phrasing can make things come out wrong. So before taking offense, double check. Honestly, make sure that the person meant to be offensive. And then react as is appropriate. But the way people are feeling right now, first appearances can be deceiving. And it might not be necessary to chop off the person's head right away to protect yourself. They probably didn't mean it in that fashion, and would never have thought that it would be taken that way. And the final one is Taiwaz reversed. Taiwaz is the rune of self-sacrifice. Taiwaz is the rune of expediency, of giving up one thing in order to get another. And today, it being reversed, is saying that that is not something that needs to be taken into consideration. We don't need to make the grand gesture. We don't need to pay bills now and have sweets next week. We don't need to give up the juice in order to get the pie instead. Sorry, random examples, because it feels to me actually like I'm pulling this out really long, and it was much simpler. But that is part of the process. I was going to stop and restart, but it is part of my learning process. So, really, this is a pretty simple reading. We have the 3 Rado reversed, not a lot of movement today. Thurisaz reversed, which is probably the important one. Don't go immediately onto the defensive. If it feels like an attack, check and make sure that it really is. because a small thing can blow up into a big thing. And Taiwas reversed. There's no need for big sacrifices, grand gestures, or there's no need to make a choice between one thing and the other. So today, while it is a day of kind of treading water, having a holding pattern, take care of your reactions and actions so that the things you see, the things that you perceive, are the things that were intended. Everybody is feeling the pinch. Everybody is feeling the crunch. And we each have our own integrity to stand up to represent. We each have our own foundations to draw strength from. But we are not all on the same level. We cannot all perceive and understand exactly what each other is going through without communication, without double checking. So if it feels like somebody's slinging arrows at you, wait. Make sure that they're arrows. You can have your defense ready, but make sure that they are arrows and not, cupcakes instead. Double check the intention, and if possible, let it go by instead of reacting in an aggressive fashion and thereby creating a big huge war. Alright, one more time, make sure I covered all the bases. Rado reversed, not a lot of movement today. Thurasaz reversed, keep a lid on the aggression. Taiwas reversed, there's no need for the big sacrificial gesture. There's no real need to make a decision between one thing and another. It is all going to work out. It is up to us to keep ourselves within our guidelines, to keep ourselves strong, to keep ourselves moving, even if it feels like we're not moving forward, so that when this tempest is over, when we finally reach the shore, when the journey, this cycle of the journey is ended, we can look back on it and go, well, that was tough, but I am proud of what I've done. And for those things I am not proud of, I will go make amends, or I have made amends. Because we want to reach the top of the mountain and look back at the path and go, I did it. I did it, and I can be proud and happy and dance and successful. So, take care of yourself. Let the little poisonous barbs slip by. It may not feel like we're moving, but the end of the journey is coming. And I hope you have a great day.